Hare Krishna, friends. So today we're going over verses 6 and 7. Again, I just want you to feel comfortable with the material. It is really complicated, but what we're doing is we're painting a picture of how the whole entire universe is created to get to the point where Brahma makes his beautiful hymns of the Brahma-samhita, Govindamadi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. So it's very complex. These two verses are very detailed in explaining Krishna and Krishna's energies. And then next we're going to get more into the details of the material world, but eventually get to the point where Brahma manifests on the lotus, coming up very soon. So be patient with yourself. It's complex, but soon you'll come out of the clearing into the beauty and poetry of Brahma's verses, and it'll all be worth it. Hare Krishna. Okay, friends, so now we are at verse 6, and the philosophy behind this verse is very, very deep. So let's focus. It's only a few words, few lines, but the meaning of it is very mysterious, very deep. So the first line is Evam Jyotir Maya Deva, which means Deva, or God, the Supreme Lord, is Jyotir Maya, is the manifestation of Jyotir. And in Sanskrit, Jyotir means light, but it means like a transcendent light, like a divine energy. So this first line, Evam Jyotir Maya Deva, is that the Supreme Lord, Krishna, is the embodiment of divine light energy. Jyotir is like this, like if when we say the sun, there's the sun globe, and then there's the light that emanates from the sun. One is the person, sun. One is the energy of the sun. They're the same, and at the same time they're different, because you point to it and say that's the light, that's the sun. So Krishna is the Deva, and he is the manifestation of all transcendental energies, or Jyotir, or light. Okay? The next line says, Sad Ananda Parat Param. Sad Ananda means he is the source or the embodiment of Ananda, or all joy, all happiness, all peace, satisfaction. Ananda is also means bliss. So all these words, he is the Sat Ananda, the source of that thing. And he is the Parat Param. Parat means the top, and he's the top of the top. Parat Param. Now we have this word. So we've already said that he is the Supreme Lord, the top, and he is the manifestation of all divine light, like the sun manifests light. He is the manifestation of all Ananda, joy. And then we have the word Atma Rama. Atma means the self, and Ramasya, or in this case Rama, means self-enjoy, self-satisfied, has no external desires, he is not anxious, is not in need of anything, self-satisfied, Atma Rama. And so then we have this last line, which is Prakriti, or his energy, material energy, which creates this and maintains this material world, na samagamaha, doesn't have anything to do with it. Wow, that's really amazing. So we had the first line, that he is the manifestation of transcendental energy. He is the manifestation of all Ananda, joy and pleasure. He himself is self-satisfied with this joy. So there's the Purusha, the person, and the Prakriti, the energy of that person, like the sun and the sunlight. But then this last line says, Prakritya na samagamaha, that material energy, Prakriti, which deludes this material world, which is a far distant shadow, but is also part of that Jyotir Ananda Rama, that pleasure potency, that energy of Krishna. Krishna has nothing to do with it. He is separate from that. Pretty amazing. Very deep philosophy. And we'll get into a little bit more as we progress into this difference between Krishna and Krishna's energy, how they're the same and different, and what is this Rama or Chit potency. So Bhaktisiddhanta's translation is, the Lord of Gokula is the transcendental supreme Godhead, the own self of eternal ecstasies. He is the superior of all superiors, param, and is busily engaged in the enjoyments of the transcendental realm, and has no association with his mundane potency. Pretty cool. So let's look at this one line here, and I'll give it a quick explanation, and we'll move to the next verse. The deluding energy, which now we're going to name that Prakriti. So moving forward, when we say Prakriti, we mean the energy in the material world that deludes everything, makes us think that we're the doer, makes us think that God doesn't exist, makes us think that we're the body and such, called Prakriti. And then Krishna's spiritual energy, which gives us the vision of Krishna's pastimes, helps us understand who we are, and has the vision of the self, has all spiritual philosophies and ideas and concepts and devotion and bhakti. We're going to call that Chit, C-I-T, or Rama. Okay? So here, this line says, the deluding energy, Prakriti, who is of the nature of the perverted reflection of the spiritual Chit potency. So the nature of Prakriti is that Chit potency, that spiritual Ananda, Rama, Jyotir of the Supreme Lord. It's a perversion of it. Though it's part of it, it's still a perversion of it. It works like it, but like when you see a tree, the explanation is if you went to a lake and you saw a tree on the bank and you looked at the reflection of the tree looks upside down, a little bit wavy. It's a reflection of the actual tree, a perverted reflection. Does that make sense? So the Chit potency is the tree, and the Prakriti energy is that reflection of the tree. Makes us think something that we're not. So again, the deluding energy, who is of the nature of the perverted reflection of the spiritual Chit potency, has got her location on the other side of the river Viraja. And we're going to get to that soon in the diagram, how the material world has got a border, and that border between the spiritual universe and the material universe is a river called Viraja. So, coming soon. Okay, so verse 7 says, Maya Yarama Manasya. He does not engage with his Maya energy. Krishna has no connection with his Maya energy. Na viyogas tayasaha. But there's not a complete separation. It's not a connection. There's something still there. Atmana Ramaya Reme. He engages his self with Rama, his pleasure potency, and Tyaktakalam Shishrikshaya. Using that pleasure potency, he throws off time in the form of a glance, and that pleasure potency makes the connection to Maya by engaging her with that glance. And so here Bhaktisiddhanda says, Krishna never consorts with his illusory energy. Still, her connection is not entirely cut off from the absolute truth. When he intends to create the material world, the amorous pastime, or Rama, in which he engages by consorting with his own Chit potency Rama, by casting his glance at the deluding energy in the shape of sending his time energy, is an auxiliary activity. So, what does that mean? It means Krishna doesn't engage in the material world. He has nothing to do with Maya, the deluding energy. But when it comes time to create the material world, he casts off time through his glance. And Rama, his pleasure potency, carries that to Maya, who is also her energy as a perverted form. And Maya takes that glance and time to start the process of creation. Okay, so we're going to read Bhaktisiddhanta's purport. It's short, but it's thick. Let's see if we can get through it. The illusory energy has no direct contact with Krishna. So Maya has no contact with Krishna, but it's got indirect contact. Vishnu, who is the first manifestation, Sankarshan. If you remember the diagram, there's Goloka, and then there's Svetadweep, which is the 4 points. And one of the 4 points, Krishna has expanded as Vishnu, Mahavishnu. The Maha means like the original Vishnu. And one of them is called Sankarshan. And Sankarshan means, Sang means a collection. And Karshan, like Krishna, means to attract. So he attracts together or brings together collection, or in a poetic way of saying, he creates, Sankarshan. So Vishnu is the prime cause lying in the causal ocean, the primary portion of Mahasankarshan, who has his seat in Maha Vaikunta, the sphere of Krishna's own extended transcendental pastimes. Okay, so there's a comma there. There's a big sentence. So Mahavishnu, Sankarshan, lies in the Viraj River, and we'll get into what that is, but it's the border between the material world and the spiritual world. We have it in the diagram. So Mahasankarshan, that first version of Krishna as Vishnu, lies in the river, and using his pleasure potency, his chit potency, he throws off through his glance towards Maya, the Prakriti, the material energy, time, and his creative desire, both things. So he has a seat in Mahavaikuntha. That means that he lives in Svetadweep, one of the 4 corners. He casts his glance towards the deluding energy. Even in casting his glance, he has no contact with the deluding energy, because the spiritual chit potency, Rama, then carries the function of his glance as his unpolluted, ever-submissive potency. The deluding energy, as the maidservant of the spiritual chit potency, Rama, serves the manifested plenary portion of Godhead, consorted with Rama, the time energy representing the force of activity, and instrumentally Rama. Hence there is found the process of masculinity or creative force. Wow, what does that mean? Krishna expands as Mahavishnu in Svetadweep. That Mahavishnu is called Sankarshan, the Vishnu who creates. That Vishnu lies down in the causal ocean, or the Viraj River, and that Viraj River is what separates the spiritual world with the material world. Using his chit potency, his sunlight, his joy potency, also called Rama, he throws off through his glance time. And time and that creative desire is carried to Maya, or Prakriti, the illusionary force that creates this material world. And through that desire that's being carried, as we get a little hint in this very last sentence, Shambhu, or Shiva, is manifested. And through the interactions of Maya and Shiva, this material world is created. So that's a little trailer for the next portion to come. Hope that's clear. Hare Krishna.